Hello, friends. Welcome. I hope you had a wonderful New Year and a Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you're celebrating. Christmas over here. I'm gonna be real honest. We didn't celebrate Christmas a whole lot. We celebrated, but we didn't do like the tree and the decorating and all that stuff until we had a kid. And he's 6 now, and holy moly, the kid loves to decorate. And on top of that, Santa was really good this year. Okay, so anyway, now I want to talk about what it was like after I actually woke up from my near death experience. So in total, I spent about a month, over a month, probably closer to a month and a half in the hospital. And due to COVID restrictions, this was earlier in 2022. Due to COVID restrictions, my son couldn't visit. So that was the hardest part. I had my mom, my wife, and my brother visiting, daily, or, my wife multiple times a day. And that was nice, but not being able to see Alex was by far the hardest part of all of it. I think I could have stayed up there longer if I needed to, if it wasn't for that. So the second hardest part uh, was going number two. So being out for 10 days, not moving your body, it makes you incredibly weak. To the point where I had a hard time sitting up, rolling over. On top of, I had broken ribs, so going to the bathroom became a challenge, and yeah, I needed help for that. So that meant, and oh, well, when I got help, let me be clear, I wasn't going to the bathroom because there's no way I could get up to go to the bathroom. So everything was happening in my bed, with a bedpan. Now, after that first day, I remember I woke up, I talked to my wife, obviously. I actually FaceTimed with my coworkers because they were super great throughout it all. But then that night, after everybody left, I watched Iron Man, Tony Stark, the first Iron Man movie. And I think the reason for that is, you look at Iron Man, and he's kind of like in that first movie specifically, he crashes and burns. He was kind of a different person. He went to the cave, he came out of it a whole new person. And to me, that was kind of inspirational. And it kind of gave me the first kick I needed, the first little boost that said, I can do this, I can push. And so that's what I did. Now, during my time in the hospital, I kind of became a hospital celebrity, for better or worse. Everyone wanted to see the guy that coded 8 times. They wanted to meet me. They wanted to hear a little bit of my story, and they took that as an inspiration. I mean, people that didn't even care for me, that weren't my doctors or nurses, would stop into my room and talk to me and be like, "You're the guy. You're the guy. Oh my goodness," and like shake my hand. Which is kind of a surreal feeling, to be well known for that. But a lot of people told me, a lot of the nurses and doctors told me they took inspiration from that, and that's something I can get behind. Speaking of those professionals, the medical professionals, being in the hospital for that long, you really get to know your nurses. Your doctors, yeah, they come in once a day, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, but your nurses are the ones that are bringing you your water, giving you your medicine, helping you go number two. And they're the ones that are there throughout the night when your family goes home, and the ones that are there, when you're having a bad moment or a good moment. They're the ones that are right on the other side of that call button. Now, I would get real excited to have conversations with the nurses that I had, because we would talk about everything, like family, our kids, the weather outside. They would tell me what was going on outside. When I went into the hospital, it was snow on the ground, I think, and then when I got out, it was shorts weather. So it was quite the change there. But one thing that kept coming up, and it frustrates the heck out of me, the people that go to the hospital that treat their nurses bad, that get frustrated with their nurses because their nurses are trying to do something that the person might not love. Let me be clear. Don't be that person. Your nurse is literally just doing what the doctor passes along, and probably better than what the doctor's passing along. They're the ones going above and beyond, the ones bringing you the water and bringing you the pills, and literally the ones that are coming into your room anytime you need something. And they're not the reason that you're there. And so, that would just frustrate me whenever I heard of people treating their nurse poorly because there's no reason for that. Now, aside from being weak and pooping the bed, there's a couple other challenges in a bedpan, okay? Not in the, okay. There's a couple other challenges that I'm facing still to this day. So one of them, the big ones, would be my memory. The best way I can describe it is like, when you're trying to think of an actor's name, or you see that person that you've met a couple times and you can't remember their name. My brain is consistently in a state of that where it's like, what was that? I know that, but I can't quite put my finger on it, and that's one thing that I struggle with. Another thing that I struggle with. So I am now, because of this, I had the stroke on this side during all of it. We saw it in the scans on the back side of my head. I'm now blind on this side. So, like, my peripheral vision is off. So, like, if I'm moving my hand over, I can't see it until it's right there. Now, I can move my eyes and see it, but if I'm looking straight ahead, I cannot see it there. And then there was my left hand. Now, let me start off by saying I am a lefty. And so when I woke up, my hand, those plastic Halloween ring spiders the kids get? They're always like the cheap toy and trick or treating. It felt like I was holding a handful of those. Like anytime I closed my fist, and what I think it was is my fingernails and my nerves were all messed up. And it's not like I have sharp fingernails, but my nerves were messed up. And it caused a lot of numbness and a lot of pain. And for a long time, my left hand was completely unusable. Now, I later found out from a surgeon that went in and tried to do some work on the arm that this was due to a blood pressure cuff that had been on my arm that they didn't move, for the 2 weeks or so, almost 2 weeks I was in a coma. And I paused there because I heard everybody asking why they didn't move it. Well, the reason was because if they moved me at all, like if they moved me, my blood pressure would dip so low that I would go back into like I'd start coding or near coding again. So they couldn't even move me to change blood pressure cuff arms. And I think the mindset was if I have nerve damage in my left arm, that's a small price to pay, which I absolutely agree with that. Now, like I said, I've had surgery to work on it. They unpinched some nerves, and the surgeon said it could take up to like 2 years for my hand to get better if it gets better. And the good thing is it doesn't hurt like it used to, but I still don't have much feeling in these fingers. So I mean, it's very numb feeling, and this hand is still very weak. So like I'll grab something and I just can't grip it, and that's hard. Now, while those other problems might seem like a big deal, and they are a big deal, one of my biggest post coding problems was were my kidneys. So while this was all happening, my kidneys started to fail. Apparently, when you start to die, your kidneys are the first ones to go. So that's what started happening to me. So I was having to while I was in a coma, I had to get dialysis like every day, like 2 hours of dialysis. And then when I woke up, I still had to get it a few times. Now, the miraculous thing of all this, my kidneys have made a full recovery since. So, like, they're working fine. And, when I left the hospital, they put a port, for a dialysis port in me. And it's kind of like a tube that literally comes out of your body. And it was right up here. So I keep referencing to here. But they put one of those in me, but I never had to use it because I never had to go in for dialysis after I left the hospital, so they removed it within like a month or so.
Daddy!
Look at that!
Daddy!
Go see him! Go!
Daddy! I was missing.
Oh, here, take this. Alexander! I want the biggest hug you can give me.
I loved you when you were in. I missed you in the hospital.
I missed you. Mwah. So when I got home from the hospital, I had this big welcome home thing. It was awesome. My son was excited to see me. I cried. I cried. He didn't cry. He was just excited. But so it's not funny, but it is funny looking back on it now. I was stuck on a living room floor for 2 days. So I got down out of my wheelchair to play with Alex, and I couldn't get back up. So thankfully, Amy got me brought in a mattress from the spare bedroom, laid it on the living room floor, and that's where I spent the next couple of days with my iPad and my everything I needed. I had, but I was just stuck there on the floor, which that wasn't fun. Now I did go home against the advice of physical therapy. And let me be perfectly clear, my doctors cleared me. They were not saying I needed to stay, so I did not go home against the advice of my doctors. But physical therapy they wanted me to stay for a couple more weeks to build up strength, and I was blunt. I said that's not happening. If I didn't have Alex, I think I could have done it, but the fact that I hadn't seen my son in over a month, if you're a parent, you know that that's excruciating. And then there's the fact too, and you'll learn more about this later, but Alex has autism, right? So he has a different set of challenges, and he didn't quite understand why I wasn't there. Now I know most 6-year-olds wouldn't understand that, but he was acting out in a bad way. I mean, and it was becoming a real hard challenge for my wife to deal with. So I think me coming home from my mindset just to see him, and for his mindset to see me, was very crucial at the time. So I had to make the decision as a parent, as a dad, to say, you know what, I'll do physical therapy at home, which I did. We had people that would visit a couple days a week to come to me instead of me staying there, and that was a lot better of a situation for me. Now the lasting effects, the stuff that I'm still dealing with now. Obviously, I had an amputation above the knee, so that's something I'm still working with. I have prosthetics. I just got my second one made, so I'm waiting for that to be complete, and then I have to learn how to walk on that one. So that's been a challenge. And then mental health. I keep talking about mental health, and that's I feel like that's going to be a challenge for a long time, and that's for me it's something that I was ashamed of at first. Like, oh my gosh, I can't mentally deal with this. But the more you think about it, you know, it's not something to be ashamed of. No matter what kind of big things you've gone through or little things you've gone through or anything, even if you haven't gone through things, your mental health is nothing to be ashamed of. If it's bad, if it's in the dumps, don't be ashamed of that. Talk to somebody, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to anybody. Get the help you need because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So if you like my style of video, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to keep making videos after I get done talking about my near-death experience. I have some other ideas that are going to be just as fun, and you'll probably see a lot more of my sense of humor come out because I have kind of a dry sense of humor that's very sarcastic. And the other thing, if nobody really watches these, that's okay with me. I think the goal, my ultimate goal for this is to make videos for my son.
And Sam looking here with my best buddy.
He was 5 when this started, 6 now, getting ready to be 7 in a couple months. He's been shielded from all of this, so he knows that I was away for a while, but he doesn't know how bad. He knows that I was in the hospital, but doesn't know how bad it is, and we keep it from him because he doesn't need to worry about that stuff yet. But someday, he'll have these to look at and a way to look back and say, "Oh my goodness, this was." I think all of us would love to learn more about their parents when they were younger. You know, my dad's passed away, and I would love to hear stories about when he was a young adult or when he was an adult and I was a young child. I think that would be so cool. So in the spirit of that, I think I'm going to end all of my videos with a little piece of advice for my son. Now, if you could use this advice, go for it. I'm happy to spread the word. So I think the advice that I have this video would be, Alex, if you ever have to go pee, even a little bit, before you get in the shower, please go pee before you get in the shower. Because I guarantee you, when you get in there, you're going to have to go. And you don't want to have to get out, get back in, and, you just go before you take a shower. It'll be a lot easier. Um, so that's my advice for you right now, my first piece. And then also I want to say my next video, I will answer your questions. If you have any more questions you would like to ask, post them on this video. I'm going to be compiling them and answering them all in the next video. All right. Have a good one.